Hey there, Diane Conklin with Complete Marketing Systems. We're back with another episode, lesson, list of Diane's Dozen. And I can't even tell you how much I love this one, right? So this one is about being a great problem solver. And in order to be a great problem solver, you have to have what I call situational awareness. People always say to me, Diane, nothing seems to get to you. Well, things get to me, but I'm prepared because I have situational awareness in that I know what I'm going to do no matter what happens. So I'm going to use softball as an example because that's my sport. But it applies in all sports, and I'll show you how it applies in business in just a minute. So in softball, I was in college, I played outfield, all right? So if I'm in left field, I have to know every situation. How many outs are there? How many runners are on base? What's the count that the batter has? And even what pitch is being pitched. Who the batter is. Are they lefty or righty? And what are their tendencies? I have to know all of that, and I have to know one on every pitch. Because it changes if I know the pitcher, what the pitcher's going to pitch. And by the way, we flash signals behind our back. That was the way we did it a while when I played, right? It was the old-timey way. Now, there's a couple things that they do. A lot of them wear what looks like a wristband on their wrist, and the coach who is calling most of the pitches puts it in, and it shows up on everybody who has the watch. Used to be we would do behind the back, right, with whatever the pitch was, so that we knew. But my point is, in every one of those situations, it might be different. Well, Diane, how is it different based on the pitch? Well, I'm going to play differently if my pitcher's throwing a fastball than if she's throwing a changeup. The fastball, they're going to have a right-handed hitter is going to have more of a tendency to be behind it if she's a good pitcher, and so they're going to have a tendency to hit more toward center and right with a righty. On a changeup, they're going to be out in front of that homer because it's way slower, and so the chances of them hitting the ball, to me, are improved. Doesn't mean I'm not paying attention on the other pitches. It just means I need to know so that I can get a jump on, right? So that I'm prepared. This comes down to, this is for me, and in basketball the same thing, right? Who am I guarding? Are they righty lefty? Are they a great shooter? Are they great? If they don't shoot 3-pointers, I might sag off of them a little bit, right? Until they hit a 3, and then I might go out and guard them more. Who do we foul in a foul situation at the end of the game? Who's the worst free throw shooter on the team? I could go on and on and on with every single sport, right? But here's the point. People say to me all the time, you're such a great problem solver. You have a solution or a possible solution or multiple solutions for everything that I talk to you about. My coaching clients say this to me all the time. Want to know why? Because I've trained my brain to work that way and to think that way because of my sports background, because of my athletic background. You know, when I walk on an airplane, I know which row I'm sitting in. I know how many rows I am from an exit row. Usually from all of them. I know how many seats I have to get over to get to that exit in case of an emergency, right? I have that situational awareness. Why? Because I need to be able to solve a problem for me and my loved ones. And in business, being able to problem solve, being able to come up with, okay, that didn't work as well as we'd like for it to do. Let's test something else, right? I love the quote that says in real life, it's called failure. In marketing, it's called testing, right? I love that quote. But being able to problem solve, first of all, when I worked, when I was in Merritt Island, Florida, doing my unpaid internship for the year, and then ran the company down there for 8 years, one of the things that the guy who owned the business said to me is, he said, Diane, you think you're here because you can sell? He said, you're really here because you're a problem solver. You can solve problems, things that I don't have to deal with, right? And so being able to solve problems is one of those situations where, you know, I think one of my unique abilities is I have the ability to look at the big picture as well as know what the detail is. And again, I think part of that comes from sports. Part of that comes from that thinking process that I've developed over the course of really my lifetime, because I've started playing sports when I was, I don't even know how old I was, young, right? 6, 7, 8, 9, organized sports anyway. And so you train your brain. You know, it's like people say to me, how do you always look at a situation and come up with a business story or a business solution or a marketing? Because I've trained my brain that way, right? And so some people can't figure things out like this, but it's a training process. Look at a situation and think, if this happens, what am I going to do? If that happens, what am I going to do? So that you're prepared. It's kind of like self-defense, right? Even if just think about it from a generic perspective. When you walk to your car, and I know guys don't have to think about this as much as ladies do, but they should. You walk to your car, even at dusk, if you're somewhere in a parking lot, or when I get out of my car in the grocery store parking lot in the middle of the day. I remember exactly where I park, which row I'm in. Sometimes I take a picture if I'm in a garage, right? But in the grocery store parking lot, I know what number car I am from the store. I know which row I'm in. I look around. Are there anybody sitting in cars? Are there people walking in the parking area that don't look right? Right? So it's being aware of your surroundings. Same when I come out, especially when I'm putting the groceries in the car. Right? It's that problem solving. And in your business, you have to be able to solve problems. And look, I hear somebody saying, but Diane, I'm wasting time thinking about things that, that might not happen. This isn't about worrying. That's not what this is about. This is about being prepared in a way that you don't get surprised. Again, if I'm speaking on the platform, I've already thought about what happens if I get somebody that wants to heckle. I know how to handle that situation, right? What if something happens in the middle of my presentation from a health perspective in the room? Hopefully it never happens, but I'm ready for all of these things, right? I don't get on the platform and then ask for water. I've taken care of that ahead of time because I know I'm going to get parched. I know I'm going to need something to drink, right? It's solving the problem ahead of time so that I'm not surprised when the thing happens. And it's this process that goes on in your brain. For me now, in my 60s, it's almost automatic. It just happens. I don't think about it anymore. Even when I'm driving, if I'm taking a trip and I'm driving and by myself or with somebody else, right? Think about how you're constantly, or you should be, looking in your rear view, looking in your side mirror. Which lane are you in? What happens if this happens? This car, being cautious, stop, all speeding up, slowing down. That's all problem solving, and it happens instantaneously because you've been driving for all these years. But it's a muscle just like these, right? Just like the ones you use in athletics, just like the ones you use at the gym. It's a muscle you have to develop. And it's something you have to think about. But the better problem solver you are, the smoother your business will go. The smoother your business goes, the less problems you have, the more productive you can be, the more profits you can make. And so when you're a good problem solver, you have less problems. Because many times you can cut them off at the pass. In other words, stop them before they happen. Because you see it coming, right? You could call it intuition. You could call it your gut. I call it, I solved this problem before it happened, so I know what I'm going to do, and let me go fix it before it becomes a problem. Be a great problem solver. Have situational awareness in your business so that you're ready for any situation that might happen. I do this even before I do a coaching session with a client. What are the things we talk? I look at my notes from their file. What did we talk about last time? What are the things I need to ask them about? What are the things I need to address? What are the things they might ask me about? Is there anything I need to prepare? I try to never be surprised, unless it's a good thing, right? In good ways in my business. All right. For a copy of this and all of the 12, go to dianesdozen.com. This was number 8, so we're more than halfway down. Oh, number 9, sorry. We are well on our way to wrapping up this series. Let me know if you like it. I'd love to have some comments or questions. Check it out. We'll be back to you soon. In the meantime, make it a great day.